Hello students, good morning. Today we are going to explain nationalism in India. This is part 3. In the previous video, we explained about partition of Bengal and Vande Mataram movement. And in this video, we are going to continue the partition of Bengal. What are the important incidents? Partition of Bengal. Partition of Bengal was announced Partition of Bengal was announced by the Viceroy Curzon in the year of 1905. I told you what was the reason told by British government for partition of Bengal. They told being as a largest state in our India, it was difficult for British to rule. That's why they are going to divide Bengal into two provinces for the administrative conveniences. But the actual reason behind partition of Bengal was what? Nothing but dividing the India into many small areas based on religion. And one more important reason, creating quarrels among Indian different religion people. So they are going to divide our India based on community, based on religion. And first onwards, from the beginning onwards, Britishers followed the same policy what we told you, divide and rule policy. That's why they think very well. Suppose Indians are living, as long as Indians are living with unity, it was difficult for British to rule our India. That's why they are going to create a disunity among the Indians based on religion. That's why they could create quarrels between Muslims and Hindus of India. And we already told you India is a multicultural, multi-linguistic and multi-religious country. That's why they are going to start quarrels among different religion people who are living in our India. And as we told you in the previous video, the west part of the Bengal comprised by maximum Hindus, and whereas the east part of Bengal comprised by Muslims. That's why on the name of religion, British going to divide Bengal into two parts. But Indians understood what was the inner reason behind the partition of Bengal. That's why, as a counterpart, Indians started a movement called Vande Mataram for the against of the partition of Bengal proposal proposed by British through Lord Curzon. And in our India, Vande Mataram movement was started by Tilak, Bala Gangadhar Tilak. And Tilak began Vande Mataram movement, and I told you in the previous video also, Vande Mataram movement comprised by two movements. One was a Swadeshi movement, one was a foreign goods boycott movement. When the partition of Bengal came into effect from 16th September and 16th September up to October in 1905, and that date onwards, there were many agitations, demonstrations, strikes, rail rokos, road rokos were continued in our India. And wherever we have to see, Indians came on the roads with the slogan Vande Mataram. If we see what was the meaning of Vande Mataram, complete freedom. Vande Mataram means independence. So with this slogan, Indians came on the public roads and they expressed their harassment, their resentment against of the British government. And Vande Mataram movement, I told you, comprised Swadeshi goods movement, foreign goods boycott movement. Under the part of Swadeshi goods movement, Gandhiji advised every Indian wanted to weave at least 2,000 meters of cloth. Charka became the national symbol. And that's why by weaving the cotton cloth, every Indian was advised by national leaders to wear only Indian traditional dress. And by that they wanted to boycott the foreign goods. And we know Indians used to purchase only Britishers manufactured textile goods. That's why Indians wanted to give importance only to the Indian manufactured cloth instead of British goods. And in the four roads junction, whenever the Britishers walking on the road, Indians used to give the slogan Vande Mataram, and they burn the articles by gathering all on the areas. So this Vande Mataram movement began in Bengal, and slowly it successfully spread all over the country. And British observed how can we suppress the movement. That's why they planned to arrest all the Vande Mataram movement leading persons. It means leaders. That's why in the year of 1908 Tilak was arrested. 1908 Tilak was arrested. Though Tilak was arrested, Indians did not stop the movement. They continued. And the movement continued till 1911 when the King George V, the British king, announced the cancellation of the proposal of partition of Bengal. And when the cancellation of partition of Bengal was announced by King George V, our Indians also stopped Vande Mataram movement. It was a moral victory to our Indians. With this victory, Indians wanted to continue their fighting against British government in order to get freedom completely. And in this foreign goods boycott movement, all the colleges, universities, and all the offices, and all the areas, schools also, factories also boycott by the Indian students and Indian workers. And all people, they reached on the public places and participated in the Vande Mataram movement. So the main aim in Vande Mataram movement was what we have to see closely. They wanted to bring the Hindus and Muslims very close. What was the plan created by British government in order to create a quarrel between Muslims and Hindus? That was resented by Indians, and after Vande Mataram movement, during the Vande Mataram movement period onwards, Indians wanted to tie Rockies on their wrist of the hand and expressed still there was unity between Hindus and Muslims in the overall the country. So Indians also know very well, as long as all the religion people are living with unity, British was unable to deviate them, unable to divide them. But always British had been trying to divide, trying to create a quarrel among different religion people, different caste people of our India. Then after Vande Mataram movement, we are observing another important one was Home Rule movement. Home Rule movement. In the year of 1914, an Irish lady, Annie Besant, came to India from Ireland. Actually, she came to India as a representative of Theosophical Society, which was established by Madame Blavatsky in European continent. And they know very well, Indians are giving maximum value for the devotional things, and Indians are giving value for the ethics. That's the value for the ethical things. That's why they came to India, European representatives along with Annie Besant. So Annie Besant came to India with the aim of injecting the thoughts of Theosophical Society in the minds of Indians. But when she stepped into India, she began to observe what was the condition of Indians under the cruel control of British government. And she realized how the English people were ruled by English government. Same way in our India, Indian people are not being treated by the English government. Indians are facing severe troubles, many problems under the cruel control of British government in the form of more taxation, and the British government used to collect heavy amount of money in the form of home charges, and for the slight any small mistake also, small wrong also was done by Indians, a severe punishment was done. And in treatment towards Indians also, it was very cruel. There was no respect of our Indians, and Indians were criticized by British people by seeing our color, by seeing our language, by seeing our culture. See, it means Indian culture, Indian language, and Indians' color, all these were discriminated by British government. And Indians thought, how can we face this racial discrimination policy? And in 1914, when Annie Besant came to India, she toured entire our India, many places. And students, even she visited our Andhra Pradesh also. And in many states, in Andhra Pradesh, she visited Praduttur, and she constructed many schools in the total of our India. So she believed without education it is difficult for developing Indians. It is possible only by education in order to create awareness among the freedom, among the injecting of national spirit in the mind of Indians is not possible without education, she believed. That's why she wanted to promote Indians by developing educational centers. That's why under the British architectural way, by following British architectural way, she constructed and she cooperated for construction of many schools in our India. And 1914 onwards up to 1916, she participated in many movements in our India, and she ultimately started a Home Rule movement. She started a Home Rule movement with only 1700 members. And when the days are passing on, she succeeded in inspiring thousands of Indian people. Among those, Tilak was also one more famous person who got inspiration from Annie Besant. And Annie Besant established a Home Rule movement. Home Rule means what? Self-administration. Home Rule meaning is self-administration. That's why, so the Annie Besant, an Irish lady, and the Tilak, both the Home Rule movement representatives demanded for the self-administration. So indirectly, they rejected the British government and demanded to leave India for Indians. And the Home Rule movement was began by Annie Besant at Adayar in Chennai in Tamil Nadu in the year of 1916. And where Annie Besant started Home Rule first branch at Adayar in Chennai in Tamil Nadu, and the second branch was started, one more Home Rule League was started by Tilak at Pune in Maharashtra. In this way, Home Rule movement was carried out by these two leaders in a well manner, and thousands of leaders, representatives joined in the movement, and even these leaders collected amount from the rich people of our India, and they donated it for the war victims. 1916 means we have to remember it was first World War time, 1914 up to 1918, 4.5 years. A World War One was occurred. That's why in the World War One, how many Indians got injured, how many Indians were assassinated in the war. For all those families, Annie Besant wanted to give economical help, economical support. And she was the only foreign woman who was recommended for the post of Indian National Congress President. And Indians are being elected as the President of Indian National Congress was not a wonder. And being as a foreign woman, why we are giving that honor to Annie Besant? Because behind that there was a severe hard work and national spirit, enthusiasm created by the Annie Besant in the minds of all the Indians. So in this way, Home Rule movement, though it was not in a position to bring the all Indians very close to the freedom movement, and she grand succeeded in injecting national spirit in the mind of Indians. Though in 1916 freedom was not achieved by Indians, what were the necessary weapons, mind maturity, national spirit, and the gathering of all the people, all these were secured by Annie Besant by leading the movement Home Rule. That's why, though Home Rule League, India did not get freedom, through Home Rule League, national spirit was injected in the mind of Indians. And in the year of 1917, Edwin Montague, 1917, Edwin Montague started Edwin Montague reforms. Same Edwin Montague reforms came into an act in the year of, after 2 years, in 1919. This was called as Montague-Chelmsford Act. Montague-Chelmsford Act. So Montague-Chelmsford Act main topics are what here. They wanted to introduce diarchy in our India. Diarchy means nothing but dual government. So they wanted to establish a dual government in our Indian provinces. So one government by the British representatives, one more government by the Indian representatives. In this way, two governments were set up. It means diarchy, also called a dual government, was set up in provinces through this 1919 Act. But 1919 Act was a remembered year by the Indians' mind through by two more incidents. One was 1919 March Minto Morley Act was released by British government. One was in 1919 February, one more act was released, that was Rowlatt Act. We have to see what was Rowlatt Act. Gandhiji and other leaders commented Rowlatt Act was nothing but called as a Black Act. It means Rowlatt Act, according to the Rowlatt Act, why British government released this act? According to Rowlatt Act, no Indian was given permission to gather on the roads. Why? British observed, by gathering in the public places, parks, and in the roads, and in the junctions, Indians are trying to take plan how to take the freedom movement, how to get the freedom. In this way, the main thoughts, main ideas about the freedom movement are being taken by Indians on the public places only. That's why the British aimed not to give chance for Indians to appear on the roads. So even it passed an act to arrest all Indians, arrest the Indians who are gathering on the public places. So we can comment this act was a Black Act. Why? So under this Rowlatt Act, without any trial, without any crime, British government was given chance to arrest the Indians gathered, and all the Indians wanted to arrest by British government under Rowlatt Act. And many Indians, while they are going to be arrested by the British government, they asked, why are you arresting? It means there was no cause behind. Just British wanted to implement unnecessary arrest of all the Indians. In this way, British government wanted to arrest the Indians without trial. British government wanted to arrest all the Indians without trial, and that's why without trial, without a reason particularly why British is going to arrest the Indians, Indians did not understand. That's why Indians wanted to reject the Rowlatt Act. And after this Rowlatt Act, many Indians think, how can we release the arrested persons? So under Rowlatt Act, British arrested many famous leaders of our India. Among those, Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu, both were there, who were the famous leaders in our India. That's why under the Rowlatt Act, Dr. Satyapal and Saifuddin Kichlu both were arrested by British government. So Indians planned, how can we release the arrested leaders? So to discuss all these things, the third incident in 1919 was what? On April 13th, Indians met at a flower garden named Jallianwala Bagh, which was located in Punjab near Amritsar. So in Punjab state, nearby the city Amritsar, a flower garden named Jallianwala Bagh. In that Jallianwala Bagh, all the Indians secretly intimated to meet, to come to the meeting and to discuss on the topic of how to release the arrested leaders under Rowlatt Act. So on April 13th, all the Indians who were received information secretly from the meeting heads, they attended. But unfortunately, when the meeting was peacefully going on, suddenly the Punjab Lieutenant Governor Michael O'Dyer entered into the garden. It means though Indians secretly conducted the meeting, how the Britishers know the about the meeting, know the information. So one unknown Indian only expected to pass the information to the British. That's why the Punjab Lieutenant Governor Michael O'Dyer came suddenly with loaded guns and a number of soldiers along with him. And to enter into the garden and to come out from the garden, there was only one gate. Michael O'Dyer ordered the police to close the gate, and the troop of the police entered and they started fire. It means immediately after entering the garden, how could they give firing order? Suppose they are not given permission to conduct a meeting, they might have ordered Indians to vacate the place and not to conduct meeting in future. So this was the actual thing what we expected. But without intimating to Indians, without order the Indians to vacate the place, without giving any warning, directly Michael O'Dyer ordered shoot. So in that firing order, the firing was continued up to the till the last bullet in the guns of the Britishers also completed. So nearly more than 10 minutes the firing was continued. In that meeting, the old people, middle-aged women, and the young men and even children also were attended. And when the firing was started by British, Indians wanted to escape from the place. But all sides of the garden was covered with tall walls. No scope to climb, no scope to escape. Somebody tried to escape. Meanwhile, British government fired on them, and as a result, more than 1,000 of our Indians and many children, many women got wounded, and more than 1,000 people were died in this incident. In this Jallianwala Bagh massacre, an unfortunate incident, many Indians sacrificed their life, though they did not involve in any crime. When the meeting was peacefully going on, it was injustice of killing of on all the Indians. And who the cruel person here, Michael O'Dyer, ordered the police to fire on the mob of the group of Indians. And afterwards, our Indians were unable to digest the news of dying of the Jallianwala Bagh incident and murdering of all the Indians, shooting of all the Indians by British government. But if we see British government, what we expected it, when British government received the news about firing order given by Michael O'Dyer, Michael O'Dyer fired on Indians was not order coming from British government, but actually Michael O'Dyer, when he went to the British government respected him, and martial law was imposed in Punjab, and this incident